Who are you, Burt Reynolds? This is the second gen Firebird, and it is the best car from the 1970s. It's flashy, it's muscular, and it's got the best invention ever, the T-tops. Come on, we all would sacrifice a little body rigidity for that open air feel. Anyways, the second gen Firebird started production in 1970 and was on the same platform as the Camaro. Now, there's some people out there that think these cars are exactly the same except for the badging. They're wrong. The Camaro had the Chevy Inline 6, the small block Chevy, and the big block Chevy, while the Firebird had the Chevy Inline 6 or the Pontiac V8. One thing to keep in mind when talking about Pontiac motors is they're all in the same engine architecture. There's no such thing as a big block or a small block Pontiac. Anyways, for 1970, the basic V8 you can get was a Pontiac 350 making 255 horsepower, or you can get a couple different iterations of the 400, the most significant one being the L78 making 345 horsepower. We all know that number is underrated, but Pontiac continued doing this all the way through the mid-70s. The best example of this was the 455 Super Duty. This was an engine option you can get in the 1973 and 74 Trans Am. Now, this engine was rated for 290 horsepower, and for a gas crisis engine, that's really good. Here's the thing, when you get one of these cars on a dyno, they make 310 horsepower at the wheels. That means 370 horsepower at the crank. 290 horsepower, my ass. But typical for the 1970s, horsepower numbers continued to decline and big displacement motors went away. What did car companies do to make up for it? Put fancier graphics on their cars. The Trans Am got a bigger chicken on the hood as well as pinstriping. The Formula got a big ass sticker along the rocker panel. Then the Esprit had that nice little fancy stripe. Sorry, Plain Jane Firebird, no fancy stickers for you. But in 1977, everything changed. Nope, we're talking about the other movie from 1977. This is Smokey and the Bandit, the second highest grossing movie from 1977. They eventually made 3 of these movies, and the last one having my Camaro cosplay as a Trans Am. But when the first one came out, Trans Am and Firebird sales increased quite a bit. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. By the late 1970s, the Firebird had a ton of different engine options, but only one was a Pontiac motor. Besides the teeny tiny motors, you had the Olds 403 that was paired with the automatics, and the Pontiac 400 that was paired with a manual. But in 1980, all those big motors went away. A 265 that nobody cared about, you had the Buick 3.8 liter, the Chevy 305, and then the Pontiac 301. But all of those engines made less than 150 horsepower. So what did Pontiac do? They had a big brain moment and slapped a turbocharger on a 301. But there was no intercooler. And these cars also had a quadrajet, the carburetor that is known for heat soaking and boiling fuel. So instead of making a turbocharged beast, Pontiac just took a temperamental dog and shoved hot air down its throat. Yeah, these things were hard to get running right. But when you did get them running well, they made 210 horsepower at 9 psi. Whoa, that does not make sense. This made 150 horsepower naturally aspirated. You put 9 pounds of boost through it, it should make 260 horsepower. No wonder sales were down. People probably test drove these and were like, huh, not for me. But thanks to these cars going on screen, they remained insanely desirable. Think of the Rockford Files, Smokey and the Bandit movies, this weird Charlie Sheen movie, and of course, the Cannonball Run. So of course, these cars are starting to reach a Mopar level of insanity. Hell, a 77 sold for $500,000 a couple years ago. Come on, I know you want one, I want one, your mom wants one, and the crackhead on Facebook knows you want one. Plus, you can do basically whatever you want to these. Take them road racing, drag racing, street racing, or racing across the country. And you can restore one of these from the ground up. You can get all the sheet metal for one of these. All you need is a title and a VIN number, and there you go. But we do have to talk about the elephant in the room. LS swaps. For the love of God, if it comes with a Pontiac 400, do not do an LS swap. If you have a 400, do a port job, get a cam in it, and increase the compression. You're on your way to 400 horsepower at least. But if your car is the boat anchor, LS swap away. Anyways, what are your thoughts on the second gen Trans Am? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you cosplay as Burt Reynolds? My opinion, I absolutely love these things. T-tops, over-the-top graphics, perfect. But I still like my third gen more. But that's just me. Anyways, remember to like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will see you in the next video.